Hey, it's Jessica here, and this is part 2 of my 5-part series on how I overcame binge eating. If you haven't seen the first video, I will put a link in the description box so you can watch that one, because I believe that video, the tips that I mentioned in there are the first steps, like the first things you need to do. These next few videos coming up, they're not necessarily in any order of importance because they're all important. And I do 100% recognize that everyone's case is completely different. Everyone is different, and what works for one person might not work for another. Although I do hope that at least one of these tips that I share can help you in some way. Even if it doesn't make a huge impact, maybe if it makes a little impact, that is all I hope. Because this topic is so important to me because it's something I struggled with. So anywho, here are my tips for today. So I want to talk about interrupting the pattern. Whether it's binge eating or emotional eating or just simply an eating habit that you have, for example, always after you eat or always after you have dinner that you feel like you need to eat dessert, or that, at 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night that you always have to have some type of snack. This can be just simply a habit, just a pattern of eating, a pattern of behavior that doesn't necessarily attribute to health or is promoting health. So you have to understand the situation, how it applies to you. But anyhow, so with binge eating, it's usually quite frequent. So you need to start interrupting the pattern. And the way that you can do this is by, when you feel like the urge to binge or you're starting to binge eat, you need to take a step out of your body for a second. Not literally, but take a step back and just look at the situation and say, okay, I am binge eating. You say it out loud, you have to verbalize this and say, I am binge eating, or I am going to binge eat, or I feel like I'm going to binge eat. Say it out loud. Start interrupting the pattern instead of just going into it and just gorging yourself with food. Take a second. Even if you end up binging even after you say that, you're starting to make these little breaks in the pattern. So if you consistently start to do this, this will help you over time to actually, hopefully, stop or to redirect your focus. So that's my second point now, is redirection. When you get to the point of feeling like you're going to binge or you're starting to binge, again, take a step back and just redirect. See if there's something you can go and do that's different. Either leave the house or get out of the kitchen, go for a walk, call a friend, go exercise or dance or do something, or see if you can tidy up the house. There's always things you can organize, right? Or just read a book or play a game or do just redirect immediately, right? So if you feel like, oh, you want to eat, just stop yourself, say, okay, I feel like I'm going to binge here. I'm going to go do something else. And that's another point that I was going to mention, is staying busy. If you're busy, there's probably times in your life where you've either been out all day or you're at work or whatever you were doing, and you were just so busy that you came home and you're like, wow, I forgot to eat, or I didn't even have time to eat because you were so busy. Keep yourself busy. Have things to do. If you like knitting or drawing or anything like that, or playing an instrument, keep yourself busy. Schedule it into your, on your calendar or your day planner to spend an hour drawing, or spend an hour, singing or dancing, just something different that you enjoy doing. Keep yourself busy. I think the best thing is to organize things in your house and tidy up. There's always something that needs to be cleaned, or outside if you need to work in the garden or something. There's always something to do. So write a list of things that you can do and have those posted up, on your fridge or on your mirror or wherever, or keep it in your pocket and quickly look at it and see, okay, what is something I can do right now instead of eating? So you just start redirecting, interrupting the pattern. Over time, it'll get easier and easier, and you'll start to feel that sense of control, that you are in control, right? Because you don't have to binge. But when you have that control, now you can say, oh, okay, I'm stopping it and I'm doing something else. And then another thing, my last point, is to find new positive ways to deal with emotions, because there are so many people out there who eat their emotions. They stuff and suppress emotions with food. I've been there. Like, I totally get it. I totally get it. Food is very, very comforting in those situations. So you don't always want to use food, though, to deal with emotions. Food and emotions are two separate things. So find a different way to cope, whether that be speaking to somebody like a counselor or a psychologist or a friend, or you feel really upset, maybe to boost your mood you go for a walk or just be outside in nature, or if you live near water, go to the water and just breathe and do maybe some meditation. Find other positive ways that are going to help you deal with your emotions instead of eating them. Because if you constantly do that, that is not promoting health, and that's not helping you deal with the issue at hand. It's suppressing it, it's numbing out the emotions. Some people use food, some people use drugs or alcohol. Everyone's got their own different ways of coping with things, but if you can not use a substance like that and work on actually dealing with it, you will start to get to the root of the issue. And when you clear up the root, then you will actually deal with it entirely and it won't bother you anymore. But you'll also have tools in your pocket to know how to deal with things when they do come up again in the future. Okay? So those are my few tips. I'll just summarize real quickly. So we want to interrupt the pattern. You just want to break it, start pulling yourself back from the situation, interrupting it. Redirect your behavior. Consciously redirect what you're doing. Instead of eating, just be like, oh, okay, look at your list of activities that you can do and go do something else. Stay busy. Keep yourself busy. There's so many things you could do. Find something that you love or find one of your strengths and go teach somebody something. Hold a class or go write an article or something that could help other people. Just keep yourself busy. And then lastly, find new positive ways to cope with emotions. Find new ways. I know it's hard to break up with food. I know, because it feels so good, but it's temporary and it doesn't actually deal with the issue at hand. Okay, so hopefully those tips can help you today, and I will have another video for you tomorrow for part 3.